Good evening, this is Viewpoint. I'm Zaka Jacob. The loudspeaker debate in Maharashtra has gotten sharper. The Nashik police came out with a rather bizarre order yesterday that 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after the Azaan, Hanuman Chalisa or any other bhajan cannot be played. In fact, it goes on to say that around 100 meters around every mosque, no bhajan can be played. Now, this is clearly a political move by the Aghadi government to try and counter Raj Thackeray and the MNS, which has made this a big issue. The simple question is, shouldn't the loudspeaker rule apply to all religions, irrespective? Because it's a Supreme Court order at the end of the day that whatever the call to prayer is, should not be more than a certain decibel level. Now, why should there be bias towards or against any one religion in particular? But first, the story of how it is Azaan versus Chalisa in Maharashtra.
It all started in Karnataka, where right-wing groups demanded a ban on loudspeakers during prayers in mosques, citing disturbance to public. And the fire has now spread to Maharashtra. At the forefront of the ban Azaan chorus are the MNS, BJP and its allies, as well as Hindu outfits. MNS chief Raj Thackeray has threatened to play the Hanuman Chalisa in front of mosques if loudspeakers are not banned by May 3rd. His party also plans to play Maha-Aarti on loudspeakers on May 3rd if their demands aren't met.
3 तारखेपर्यंत जर ऐकले नाही तर देशामध्ये जिथे जिथे मशिदी असतील जिकडे बांग सुरू असेल तिकडे हनुमान चालीसा हे लागलंच पाहिजे अख्ख्या देशभर लागलं पाहिजे.
But the whole controversy took a different turn with the Nashik police issuing an order banning Hanuman Chalisa or bhajans 15 minutes before and after Azaan and not allowing the recitation within 100 meters of a mosque.
5 अजान के समय में 15 मिनट पहले और 15 मिनट बाद और मस्जिद के 100 मीटर के अंतर्गत कोई भी जो है भजन कीर्तन या दूसरे वाद्य बजाने का या फिर हनुमान चालीसा वगैरह का पाठ करने का अधिकार नहीं है.
While Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray and Shiv Sena have refused to address the issue up front, saying rules will be followed to maintain law and order, allies Congress and NCP have called this a conspiracy and an attempt by the BJP to instigate riots.
इस तरह की भाषणबाजी करने वालों को तो बैन किया जाना चाहिए और ऐसे कोई करते तो उसके ऊपर कार्रवाई होना चाहिए.
और ये गाइडलाइन अगले 1-2 दिन में इशू होगी और उसी के तहत सबको इसकी अमलबजावनी करना है.
Will the Aghadi government succumb under pressure or will they take the issue head-on? For now, ban Azaan chorus is a controversy which shows no signs of dying down.
All right, we're getting some breaking news in connection with this story. Mumbai police sources have told CNN News 18, according to an internal survey conducted by the Mumbai police, 72% of mosques in the city, that is in Mumbai, have reduced the decibel levels of loudspeakers on their own. This is during the first Azaan that happens early in the morning. In a few cases, the mosques have on their own discontinued the use of loudspeakers, but a large number of mosques, more than 70% according to Mumbai police sources, are saying that they have voluntarily reduced the volume or reduced the decibel level on Azaan, particularly the first one that goes off in the morning. Hanuman is now joining us with more details. So the Mumbai police are suggesting that a large number of mosques have already reduced the decibel levels of the Azaan?
Well, yes, Zaka. In fact, this is an internal survey that was conducted by the Mumbai police, taking into account local intelligence from various police stations across the island city. And in that, it has now come to a conclusion that around 72% mosques in the city of Mumbai have voluntarily on their own reduced the decibel levels of loudspeakers during the first Azaan in the morning. And in some cases, they have also come across certain mosques where they have decided not to discontinue the usage of such loudspeakers. Now, Zaka, this also comes on a day when today the Maharashtra DGP had a high-level meeting along with different police commissionerates, along with the Mumbai police too. Now, all of this intelligence that has been collected will now be submitted in a report to the Maharashtra Home Minister Dilip Valse Patil, and after that he will have a discussion with the Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, and then finally a decision will be taken about the notification along with the usage guidelines that will be issued. The Home Department has clearly said that yes, a notification will be issued. The exact timeline is not yet known. They will were all in fact waiting for this report to be submitted by the Maharashtra DGP, and in fact in the next coming few days the notification could be issued. But at the political front, the Maharashtra BJP as well as the MNS leaders have been saying that the Mahavikas Aghadi government is rather indulging in appeasement politics rather than in giving justice to all.
Okay, Herman, we'll leave it at that. Let me open this up to our guests, and you can call us in on our numbers as well in case you feel strongly about it. So the order that's been put out by the Maharashtra Home Department, 100 meters around mosques, you can't have bhajans, and 15 minutes before and after the Azaan, there should not be any Hanuman Chalisa or any other bhajan. Aparajita Sarangi is Member of Parliament, National Spokesperson of the BJP, joining us. Brijmohan Srivastav, Spokesperson of the NCP, Aarti Agarwal, author and researcher, and Maulana Masood Allah Hasan Kasmi is a Muslim scholar. Brijmohan Srivastav, I'll start with you. Why the rule is applicable only to Hanuman Chalisa or any Hindu bhajan? You're saying 15 minutes before Azaan, 15 minutes after Azaan, you can't have Hanuman Chalisa. The question is, why are you singling out one religion? What if the opposite was true? That 15 minutes before Hanuman Chalisa, 15 minutes after Hanuman Chalisa, there should be no Azaan. Can you take out such a rule?
No, Jacob Sahib, it is not against the other religions. It is simply to maintain the law and order in a good way. And it is the duty of the local authority. If they feel that it is needed, they can act as per their own discrimination. So it is not against any religious issue, but it is totally dependent on the local authority. If they feel that it is necessary, they can act.
No, so I'm asking you, sir, can you come out with an order that has the opposite, where Hanuman Chalisa 15 minutes before it or 15 minutes after it, there will be no other religious chants or call to prayers? Can you put out such an order?
No, if they want any permission within the 100 meters area, it is applicable to that area only. It is not for the whole of the city. If they want to have a Hanuman Chalisa some other place, they apply and they will get the permission.
No,
there is
sir,
no issue.
I mean, again, this is what, not just forget about opposition. Many Hindu groups are also asking, will you have the same order saying 100 meters from every temple, there should not be Azaan call? Will you say that? You will not say that,
100%.
no? No, but
It
where is that order?
It is simply a misunderstanding of the other people. It is for each and every religious place.
No. The order,
city.
as was stated by the Nashik Commissioner yesterday, and today the Home Minister has also talked about it. It says no bhajans within 100 meters of mosque. I'm asking you, will you say the same of no, Azaan, no other Muslim call to prayer, 100 meters of all temples in Maharashtra? You won't. No?
On other part, if somebody has obtained permission for the Hanuman Chalisa and the other religious people are demanding something to do in that premises, then what will be happen?
No, sir. What the question that is being there might be political reasons for what you're doing. I'm not getting into that. I am asking you, don't you think that this is singling out one religion? Why are you singling out one religion?
No. We are not singling out any religion. It is very loud and clear that we want to keep peace and harmony in the state. For that, if the local authority feels that it is needed, they are permitted to do as per the law.
So you are saying no different rules for Chalisa, no different rules for Azaan, it's the same for all. Okay, you can call us, 0120-434-1895 is our number. Let me bring in Aparajita Sarangi as well as Maulana Masood Allah Hasan Kasmi. Aparajita Sarangi, you heard from the NCP spokesperson. He represents the MVA government and the NCP there. He is saying this is not targeting any one religion. This is meant for all religions, that 15 minutes before or 15 minutes after, there should not be any clash of these calls to prayer. And within 100 meters of a particular religious establishment, there should not be the call to prayer of another religion.
A very good evening. I will place two issues on the table for consideration and deliberation. Number one, see, there is a set of rules, Noise Pollution Control and Regulation Rules 2000, and thereafter, Honorable High Courts and Honorable Supreme Court have given their own directives. And I think since 2000 till date, 21 years have passed. It's the duty of the state governments to ensure that these rules are properly implemented. I would like to emphatically say that maintenance of law and order is the responsibility of the respective state governments.
Yes.
So the rulings of the Supreme Court and the High Courts need to be implemented well. And of course, the rules 2000 need to be implemented. Now, this is one issue. Number two, I would say, as far as the Nasik Commissioner order is concerned, see, I was also part of the government. I can only say that Nasik Commissioner just cannot issue the order without prior approval of the state government.
Correct.
Mahavikas Agadi must have instructed the Nasik Commissioner to issue this kind of order. Now saying that there can be no bhajans 15 minutes before Azaan and 15 minutes after Azaan within 100 meters radius of the mosque, I think this is something which discriminates between two religions.
Yeah.
Hinduism and Islam.
No, but the NCP
I
spokesperson,
tell
you
that,
heard him, I asked 2-3 times, he's saying, no, there's no discrimination.
Yes,
It applies to all
but he's
religions.
not- Probably he doesn't know the order. He is saying there is no discrimination. It is for all the religions.
Madam,
I think he has
1
not
minute.
heard or he has not read the-
I am having 6-page order of the SP with me. Or I have read it very, very thoroughly. Therefore,
No,
I am saying
Bhajan.
it is applicable on
But
each and every
Bhajan
religion
are sung
program.
by the Hindus. Bhajans are sung by the Hindus. So
Madam,
no bhajan
madam,
15
can you tell
minutes
me
prior to Azaan and no bhajan
what your
15
BJP
minutes
government,
after
what
Azaan.
your BJP
So
government
who
is
is
doing in
discriminated
Madhya Pradesh?
against?
What your BJP government is doing in
Hindus
Aligarh?
are
Can you tell
getting
me?
discriminated against and you must agree to
Have you
it.
done anything? Have you done anything in your 18 states? Have you stopped any Azaan in
Please
your
try
state?
to look
Like
within
Maharashtra,
yourself.
Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat,
What kind
Uttar
of order
Pradesh,
is this?
Karnataka.
Why
And
don't
this
you
order is-
simply
this
go
order-
for...
No, Mr.
Then
Srivastava,
you
no, one second, Mr. Srivastava, one second, Mr. Srivastava. There is a Supreme Court order from 2005 laid down by the highest court of this land that the decibel level of the Azaan should not be more than 120 decibels or plus or minus 10 of the ambient noise in any particular locality. Now you tell me, how many mosques across Maharashtra are following this order? Is Mumbai? How many people have been arrested by the Maharashtra police for violation of this order? Now tell me, please.
Sir, in turn, I want to ask you, the Supreme Court is only confined to the Maharashtra only.
No. So Supreme Court order applies to all states. I want to ask all states. Yes, I want to ask all states. I want to ask how many people, how many management committee members have been arrested for violation of Supreme Court order which says that decibel level cannot be more than 120. Tell me. In Maharashtra, you tell me.
I think it is better to ask Sarangi madam because her party is governing 80 states in our country. How many
Sir,
people they have arrested?
right now the debate is on what is happening in Maharashtra. Maharashtra government came out with the order that 100 meters from mosques, no bhajan should be played. Maharashtra government came out with the order that 15 minutes before Azaan, 15 minutes after Azaan, no bhajan should be played. Why are you asking Aparajita Sarangi to respond?
That's right.
I told you very clearly, it is not for only for one religion. It is for the everybody.
Okay. I have two callers. After which I'll go to Maulana Kasmi. Caller number 1 is Mr. Nilesh. He's calling us from Mumbai. Mr. Nilesh, good evening. What is your question, sir?
Very good evening, Jaga.
Good evening.
It is very ridiculous to see the leader of the political party fighting and creating a fight between the Azaan and the Hanuman Chalisa. Presently, the common men are badly hit due to the fuel price, gas price, and electricity charges. These are the relevant issue. These are just a diversionary tactics, I think, to cover the fuel charges hike what the presently common man and people are facing.
Okay.
So real issue should be discussed and should be fought. These are the irrelevant issues. These are not going to benefit me.
All right.
Whether it is a Hanuman
point.
Chalisa.
I'll ask that to the BJP spokesperson. Let me also bring in our second caller. Mr. Rajaram Shetty is calling us from Bengaluru. Mr. Shetty, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
Now there are so many houses around masjids. They do evening or morning bhajans. We have got so many houses. I am from Karnataka. Of course, I have been in Maharashtra also. There are bhajans we conduct because bhajans are commonly, in the evening generally we conduct say around 7 o'clock, 8 or it may start at 5 o'clock. In some Ayyappa mandirs it starts even after 5 o'clock they started. So you
Yeah.
mean to say that it's nearby? Maybe
Yeah.
there are so many mosques around the temples. If you come to any city in Kerala, from one end to the other end, in any city, there may be nearly 50 to 100 mosques every 100, 200 meters. Do you mean to say that houses where there are some Hindus who conduct their bhajans, they should stop in the evenings or morning?
Yeah, okay. Fair question. That's a fair question. I'll put that to Maulana Kazmi. Akshay Kulkarni is also calling us from Mumbai. We'll take this caller one more and then we'll go back to the guest. Akshay Kulkarni. Good evening.
Yes, we have been filing these Twitter complaints since 2020. We have filed numerous RTI in Mumbai, and each of the RTI says that none of the mosques in Nehrunagar, Gorai, Shafirabad get any kind of permission to use the loudspeaker.
Okay.
Yet, even after complaining with the police, no action has been initiated, and the Supreme Court guidelines clearly say that if there is no permission, you have to pull it down.
Correct.
Police must send monthly reports to the CP or DM, and they should take action. But these reports say everything is okay. So we are suffering because of that. Even 580 decibels of noise pollution. So how do we deal with all of this?
All right. Okay, Akshay, thanks for that. Let me ask Maulana Kazmi, you know, this 100-meter rule, in India, neighborhoods are so crowded. Are you telling me, Maulana Kazmi, कि मस्जिद के 100 मीटर के बराबर में जो घरे हैं, वहाँ पे कोई भजन नहीं बजना चाहिए? People can't take out puja, आरती in 100 meters from the mosque. ये मतलब कैसे लागू करेंगे इस रूल को आप?
जका जी, मैं आपको ये पहले बता दूं कि we like our Hindu brothers and we love bhajan and Hanuman Chalisa. If they play bhajan in front of mosque, we don't have any objection in such a communally charged atmosphere. We love them. We are only concerned about the peace and prosperity and security of the Indian people today.
तो आप आगे आके क्यों नहीं बताते हैं? मतलब आप आ गए, लेकिन what about others? Where is the Shahi Imam of Jama Masjid? Why is he not coming out and saying कि हमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, आप बजाइए भजन?
नहीं, किसी ने आज तक कोई दिक्कत नहीं की। परेशानी जब हो जाती है जबकि कोई फोल लैंग्वेज इस्तेमाल करता है।
ये जो मुद्दा है पिछले 15-20 दिनों से चल रहा है मुंबई में, कोई आके नहीं बोला कि हमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, आप बजाइए भजन।
देयर इज नो भजन, नो। परेशानी क्या है, वो गवर्नमेंट का वो है। मैं सिर्फ ये कहता हूं, गवर्नमेंट ने अगर दिया है फॉर अजान देयर इज स्पेसिफिक टाइम, 5 टाइम अजान देयर इज स्पेसिफिक टाइम, एंड फॉर हनुमान चालीसा एंड भजन देयर इज नो स्पेसिफिक टाइम. If they have a specific time for their Hanuman Chalisa, so we will absolutely and we guarantee we will stop and we will respect.
और ये 100 मीटर रूल जो है उसका 100 मीटर रूल तो मतलब मस्जिद के 100 मीटर के आमने सामने कोई हिंदू घर नहीं होना चाहिए. अगर हो भी हो तो उनको कोई भजन नहीं बजाना चाहिए.
हम तो हिंदू भाइयों को वेलकम कर रहे हैं. यू मस्ट आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट.
नो आई विल आस्क. आई एम जस्ट सेइंग ये ऐसे ऑर्डर हिंदुस्तान में आप लागू कैसे करेंगे जिसमें इतना आबादी है, इतने लोग हैं, इतने परिवारें बसे हुए हैं, और कैसे लागू करेंगे इस ऑर्डर को?
Zaka, my question, I have one question. Look, only from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. only Fajr namaz comes. What about 4 times Azaan as well? There is also pollution. And what about, I think there should be blanket ban on the use of loudspeaker for religious purpose.
आप अर्जी फाइल कर दीजिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट में कि there should be blanket ban on loudspeaker irrespective of whichever religion. वो अजान हो या हनुमान चालीसा हो या क्रिश्चियन मास हो, जो भी हो, end this business of loudspeaker. खत्म कर दो loudspeaker.
Why you people don't play such slogan?
No, I'm saying let some आप आगे आके फाइल कर दीजिए ना PIL कि there should be no loudspeaker in any religious establishment.
You are only looking for targeting one specific community on the name of
नहीं ये गलत बात है. No मौलाना कासमी, how are we targeting only one? मैं तो शुरू से कह रहा हूँ, when this show started I've been saying that why should it apply to only one religion? It should apply to all religions. बंद कर दो आप लाउडस्पीकर.
Why are you not calling? Why
नहीं नहीं, बंद कर दो आप
not
लाउडस्पीकर.
calling for
किस
blanket
चीज के
ban?
लिए चाहिए आपको लाउडस्पीकर?
There should be blanket ban like we have in Europe and America, sir.
Aarti Agarwal. The point is this is not just an unimplementable order. I don't know if it will stand the scrutiny of law. To be honest, you know, how can a investigating agency or a law enforcement agency, how can it go around saying that houses 100 meters around mosques should not play bhajans? I mean, it's ridiculous.
So, Zata, I want to say here that India is home to the maximum number of mosques in the whole world, which means every gully, nukkad, every road will have a mosque. So this order is essentially what it's trying to do is ban all Hindu religious activity, anything on a loudspeaker. This is basically what it amounts to over here. And what I want to say here is that, you know, I agree that maybe that, you know, whatever people are saying, this is politicization, everything is politicized in this country. And MNS is at least taking up one important, pertinent issue, even if it's the issue of Hindus, even if it's a political brownie points, this issue, it's high time it's addressed. If this law of the Supreme Court was followed in the last 15-16 years,
correct,
then this whole thing would never have come up that we will threaten to play Hanuman Chalisa or we will
No,
threaten to do
I asked the
So-
NCP spokesperson, please tell me how many management committee members, how many people have been arrested for violation of Supreme Court order from 2005. He then turned around and said, आप बीजेपी राज्यों से पूछिए. ना वो भी जवाब दे रहे हैं, ना ये भी जवाब दे रहे हैं.
Because this has to be implemented in a secular country. In a secular country, Azaan के लिए permission नहीं लेनी पड़ रही है इनको. Nobody is taking permissions for Azaan loudspeaker.
No, it's violative of the 2005 Supreme Court order. श्रीवास्तव जी, आप 2005 का सुप्रीम कोर्ट का ऑर्डर देख लीजिए, उसके बाद बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट का भी ऑर्डर आया था उसके बाद. You look at the two orders. It is very clearly said 120 decibels से ज्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए और plus or minus 10 of whatever the ambient noise is हर लोकेलिटी में. नहीं, मिस्टर श्रीवास्तव बोलिए.
जेकब साहब, मैं आपकी बात से सहमत हूँ कि ऑर्डर 2005 में आया था और इसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन प्रॉपरली होना चाहिए, लेकिन नहीं हो पाया. जब से ये चीज नोटिस में आई है, इसको टेकअप किया गया है और मैं आपको ये विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूं कि इस ऑर्डर के अकॉर्डिंगली जो होना चाहिए वो सब होगा. जहां तक बात नासिक कमिश्नर की है, यदि उन्होंने कोई ऐसा ऑर्डर निकाला है उसको रिव्यू कर लिया जाएगा. इसमें परेशानी क्या है? मतलब मैं सोचता हूं कि ये मुद्दा ऐसा नहीं है कि उस पर इतनी लंबी बहस की जाए. ठीक है, ये एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ऑर्डर है. अगर कल को वहां के जो सिटीजन है या वहां के जो ग्रुप है, यदि वो कहते हैं कि इसको परिवर्तन करना है, उसको मॉडिफाई कर दिया जाएगा.
नहीं, आपने ये जो ऑर्डर निकाली है, नहीं, ये बताइए, आपने ये जो ऑर्डर निकाली है कल जो नासिक पुलिस कमिश्नर ने बताया था, इज इट नॉट इन रिस्पॉन्स टू व्हाट राज ठाकरे सेड? इज इट नॉट इन रिस्पॉन्स टू व्हाट MNS सेड दैट अगर अजान बजाया जाएगा तो फिर हम वहां आके हनुमान चालीसा भी बजाएंगे? ये तो पॉलिटिकल है ना.
मैं नहीं, पॉलिटिकली अगर एक राज ठाकरे साहब भी इस देश के एक जिम्मेदार नागरिक हैं, यदि उन्होंने कोई मुद्दा सामने रखा है तो उस पर प्रशासन को एक सकारात्मक कार्रवाई क्यों नहीं करना चाहिए? ये कोई प्रेस्टीज इश्यू थोड़ी है. हम सारे लोग मिलकर समाज को अच्छा बनाना चाहते हैं, पीस और हार्मोनी लाना चाहते हैं. हम उन लोगों के खिलाफ,
बट ये समस्या का हल नहीं निकल रहे ना. आप समस्या को और ये मजबूत करा रहे हैं.
ये आपको लग रहा है ये समस्या उन लोगों को हल होती हुई नहीं दिख रही.
सर, आप बस ये बता दीजिए, नहीं, ये बता दीजिए, जो कॉलर ने सवाल पूछा कि हिंदुस्तान में इतना आबादी है कि हर मस्जिद के 100 मीटर के करीब जो भी घर है वहां पे कोई भजन नहीं बजेगा, इसको कैसे इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे आप? मतलब कैसे लागू करेंगे इसको?
ये मुद्दा क्या है? मुद्दा है पब्लिक एड्रेसिंग सिस्टम का उपयोग करने का. मैं अपने घर में बैठ के भजन गा रहा हूँ, तो ये पब्लिक एड्रेसिंग सिस्टम पे थोड़ी हूँ. यदि मैं अगर
तो ये तो मजेदार बात है. जो अजान चल रही है वो लाउड स्पीकर पे चल सकती है, लेकिन घर पे बैठ के जो पूजा कर रहा है उसको लाउड स्पीकर नहीं अलाउड है. ये अजीब बात है. यही तो इश्यू है ना श्रीवास्तव जी, कि ये सिलेक्टिवली आप अप्लाई कर रहे हो लॉ को.
मैं सोचता हूँ शायद आप कानून को मिस इंटरप्रिटेट कर रहे हैं. आप पहले समझिएगा, यदि मैं किसी पब्लिक एड्रेसिंग सिस्टम के माध्यम से कोई बात कहना चाहता हूं, उसके लिए जो कानून के तहत मेरे को परमिशन लेना है SDM से या संबंधित पुलिस स्टेशन से, वो मुझे लेना पड़ेगी. और यदि मैं अपने घर में बैठे से अभी मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूं मेरे घर से, तो मुझे इसके लिए कोई
अपराजिता सारंगी, the contention of the NCP spokesperson is this only applies to those places where you are using public address systems or PA systems, whereas if you want to sit at home and do a bhajan, nobody is stopping you. Please respond, ma'am.
With all respect for the NCP spokesperson, I would request him to read the order of the Nasik
I
Commissioner.
am having this order.
Number
I am
number
having this
two,
order
the
also.
state
Supreme Court
government
order.
of Maharashtra should stop practicing the policy of appeasement. I think enough is enough. We need not get into implementation of the policy of appeasement which they have been doing all through. And number three,
अलीगढ़ में जब अजान हो रही है माइक पे
सर श्रीवास्तव जी प्लीज उनका जवाब तो सुन लीजिए प्लीज. Yes, अपराजिता.
now see, there is an issue which I would definitely like to flag here. Let's think about it. Azaan is essential to Islamic religious practice, but the use of loudspeaker is not. And I would also draw your attention to the August 2016 order of the Bombay High Court. You just referred, Jaka, to the Bombay High Court order.
Correct.
It ruled that the use of loudspeaker was not a fundamental right under Article 25 of the Constitution.
Yeah.
So loudspeaker usage is not a religious practice. It's not related to the religious practice in any way. Loudspeaker is a 20th century instrument.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, these religious practices, millennia old. What I'm trying to say is that the state governments, all the state governments, should focus on the implementation of the noise pollution control and regulation rules 2000 and the Supreme Court order of October 28, 2005 and the High Court orders that have come from time to time.
No, Kazmi Saab also knows this, that in Saudi Arabia, for example, a few years ago, they एक second, Shrivastav ji, एक second, Kazmi Saab से पूछ रहा हूँ. In Saudi Arabia, for example, they banned the use of secondary loudspeakers in all mosques in that country. In Indonesia, you have to maintain a certain level of decibel level for all mosques across that country. In Egypt, they've again banned public use of loudspeakers outside mosques. Now, अगर ये सब देश ये कर सकते हैं तो फिर हिंदुस्तान में क्यों नहीं कर सकते सर?
बिल्कुल.
जक्का आप सिर्फ only singling out only Azaan. Yes, there should be ban on Azaan. But what about Jagran for 10 days, 8 days, constant is this Jagran on the loudspeaker? What about the wedding DJs in full decibel? What about Gurudwara, temples, and Kavod Yatras DJs? So there should be blanket ban. You people only targeting Azaan.
Sir, ये target क्यों? मतलब ये समझ में नहीं आता मैंने. I am asking you, if Islamic countries like Saudi Arabia and Indonesia and Bahrain and Egypt have put restrictions on loudspeaker, तो हमारा तो secular देश है.
अरे भाई तो सिर्फ अजान पर बैन लगा करके
नहीं बैन नहीं कह रहा हूं मैं, लाउड स्पीकर बैन कह रहा हूं. आप अजान कीजिए, किसी को कोई एतराज नहीं है. आप लाउड स्पीकर को बैन कर दो.
अरे भाई सुनो तो मैं यही कह रहा हूं, लाउड स्पीकर अजान पर अगर लाउड स्पीकर ना यूज किया जाए तो क्या ये सोल्यूशन है? और दूसरी जगह
बिल्कुल क्यों नहीं सोल्यूशन है? बताइए क्यों नहीं सोल्यूशन है?
क्यों अगर जागरण में अगर वेडिंग पार्टी में डीजे बज रहा है, it will not be noise pollution.
Aarti,
if there is
if that's violative of 2005 Supreme Court order, then that also should be banned. But Aarti, yeah, final word. I got to move on after that. Yeah.
ना भाई, तमाम blanket ban होना चाहिए.
नहीं, ये जो whataboutery है, काज़मी साहब, you are using that to dilute the main मुद्दा. Main मुद्दा ये है कि Supreme Court का आदेश है. And more importantly, like I said, if in Islamic countries they are putting restrictions on loudspeakers, I don't know why in a secular country we should not put restrictions. But Aarti Agarwal, final word.
I just want to say that for Hindus, when they do any Jagran or any such festival, they are required to take the... Can I please speak without this shouting in the background?
Yeah, Aarti,
Mr.
yes,
Kazmi
final word.
has spoken. Yeah, I'm just saying that Hindus, when they have to do a Jagran or any Jagrata or any Kavadiya, they take permissions. And they do it after taking permissions, which is what is being discussed. For Azaan, nobody is taking permission for a daily morning ritual 4 times a day. They are not taking permissions for it. They are not even following the law, whereas Hindus are following the law. They are taking special permissions for doing Jagran only for 10 days out of 365 in the year.
I got to wrap up. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it to the viewers to decide whether this is a wise order, whether this is a tenable order, and whether at all this order can be implemented on the ground, because ultimately that's what it boils down to. Most of these orders ultimately cannot be are simply unimplementable on the ground. But meanwhile, let's shift focus to what's been happening in Jahangirpuri. Some mega details coming out now. CNN News 18 has accessed the details of the main accused. His name is Ansar. He's been involved in past cases as well. He's got a litany of charges against him from past cases. Top police sources have told CNN News 18 that he was named as far back in 2009 in the Jahangirpuri violence case as well. An FIR was registered against him under the Arms Act. 4 more cases have been registered against Ansar till 2019. So all the way from 2009 to 2019, for 10 years, there were active criminal cases pending against this man. Sources also adding that he's been involved in criminal activities since 2007. Anand is now joining us with more details. So Anand, it's clear that this man, Ansar, was part of an organized crime racket. He was an organized criminal.
He is, and born in 1980, so from his late 20s, he's not just been in bad company, but he's been in the bad books of the police too, with the Jahangirpuri police station itself registering a case against him in 2009 and an FIR under the Arms Act. In 2011, he was named under the Gambling Act. In 2013, he was named accused in an intimidation and assault case. So he is a local gunda. That's who he is. And 2018, he was named in attacking a police officer and not allowing him to dispense his duty. In 2019, he was named in 256 and 296 sections of the Gambling Act. So he was running a gambling adda there. He's been in possession of illegal weapons and arms. He was a local goon. So he was an antisocial element. He is a nefarious with very, very nefarious designs. Okay. Now, was he following somebody's instructions? The remand copy that we have, Zaka, that says that the cops are looking at a conspiracy angle and at the mastermind. So was he following somebody's orders? That's the bigger question, because there seems to be a design to all of this.
Okay, Anand, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how further the story progresses. It's clear that all of these main accused, whether it's Ansar, Aslam, Salim, Sonu, all of them have had a history of criminal antecedents. So who gave them this kind of elbow room, this kind of long rope to carry out the kind of dastardly acts that we saw on Saturday on Hanuman Jayanti? Meanwhile, we're getting more breaking in connection with the Jahangirpur violence and its aftermath. Jamaat-e-Ulema Hind will now fight the cases of all those who've been arrested from the Muslim side. Now, a 5-member team went to the riot-hit area. They called the violence a failure of law and order. Siddhant has more details on this. I mean, this was always a communal clash, no doubt about it. But for one religious body to come and say that we will represent only the Muslims who've been picked up, or the Muslims who've been arrested, who are accused in this, it is ultimately, I mean, and who are they trying to defend? I mean, these are people who have criminal records. We were just talking about how Ansar, the main accused, has had a criminal history right from 2009. Wanted in multiple cases under the Arms Act, Gambling Act, etc. There are cases against him. So why would any organization come forward to defend such a man who is clearly part of an organized crime racket? Meanwhile, there's been a political face-off that continues to rage in the national capital over the Jahangirpuri violence. One of the prime accused in this alleged mastermind, this man Ansar, he's become the center point of a political face-off now between the Aam Aadmi Party on the one side and the BJP on the other. The Aam Aadmi Party today lashed out at the BJP, with MLA Atishi sharing pictures on Twitter and claiming that Ansar in the past had been associated with the BJP. In fact, on the flip side, the BJP has also put out pictures claiming that Ansar was seen campaigning for the Aam Aadmi Party with Aam Aadmi Party cap. These are the pictures put out by Atishi a moment ago, where she's also alleging that he was campaigning for a BJP councillor, Sangeeta Bajaj, indulging in door-to-door campaigning. Arun Dhanta is now joining us live with more details. Arun, so both parties claiming that this man Ansar was a representative of the other party, Aam Aadmi Party claiming that he was a BJP worker, and the BJP claiming that he was an Aam Aadmi Party worker. What is the truth?
Well, that's right. In fact, I asked this specific question from the chief spokesperson of Aam Aadmi Party, Saurabh Bhardwaj, about these allegations, because I asked him that there are so many photographs which is floating on social media. On the basis of that, BJP is blaming, saying that this guy has a connection with Aam Aadmi Party, and now you're putting out this photograph in the public domain by saying that he was part of that campaign rally of one of the candidates of BJP. So at this moment, it seems that both the parties are throwing allegations at each other, but when it comes to anything conclusive, that's something which is not coming out. In
But
fact,
Arun, can we at least say that whether he was Aam Aadmi worker or whether he was BJP worker, it is clear that two things are clear. One, he has a history of organized criminal activity. He's got cases going back as far as 2009. So he's had some kind of criminal history, number one. Number two, this kind of criminal cannot operate in an area like Jahangirpuri without some form of political patronage. Can we agree on these two things?
Absolutely, and that has been the argument, Zaka, of both the parties. In fact, Aam Aadmi Party is saying that what police was doing, when this procession was going on and when they have swords and other things with these people, why didn't the police stop them? And when these stones and other things were collected in the mosque and in that area, why police was not doing anything? And especially, as you rightly mentioned, if this person has such a past where he has been involved in various other criminal activities, why his role has not been established earlier, what was police doing? So there are various questions which are unanswered at this moment. Perhaps once the investigation goes further, we'll see more skeletons tumbling out of this closet.
All right, we'll leave it at that, Arun Datta. Thanks very much. So clearly this has now become a political face-off between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP, claiming that this man, Ansar, was at the core of political activity. I'll take a break here on the program. When we come back, we'll shift focus to what's been happening down south in Chennai, where there's a big face-off over Ilayaraja, the legendary music composer, and his praise for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We'll take a quick break. We'll see you on the other side.